Football is a violent game, played by gladiators on a frozen tundra. Welcome to the Redzone Challenge Expert Picks, brought to you by Firestone Walker Brewing Company, featuring so-called experts Jeff Kingman.
For the second week in a row, you're asking the question, should I really watch this Thursday night game?
Jeremy West.
I have never picked against the Seahawks. You did once and it bit you in the ass.
And Allie, the full-time Firestone Walker beer guy. Part-time degenerate gambler.
This is one of those ones I'm like, do I really need to watch football on Thursday night, or should I stay good on my wife's list here?
Who will experience 80 ounces in hell? Find out with this week's picks in the Redzone Challenge, presented by Firestone Walker Brewing Company in Paso Robles. Oh, man! Give me a drink!
Hey, Allie, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
We're doing good. We got
Okay.
Jeff and Jeremy here. These are the 5 closest games of the week according to Las Vegas.
Now, since it was brought up in the intro, how many people, show of hands, we can't see your hands, Ollie, because you're on the phone, but how many people, you could just say, I did. How many people watched the Thursday night game with the Niners and the Rams last week?
I did.
Oh, you did!
Oh,
I did.
And you're glad that you watched it, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the best Thursday night game I've seen in years.
In the history of Thursday night games. Yeah, I can't think of a better Thursday night game than that, and I didn't watch any of it. But I heard the
you didn't?
No, I didn't watch a second.
I didn't watch any of it either. I had family in town, so I was watching it on the Gamecast on ESPN, going, "Oh my God, I am not going to lose another game in the Red Zone Challenge.
I should be watching
this is
this
ridiculous."
game, though.
And I'm like, "Come on, San Francisco, let's do it!" And then they blew it at the end like the Chargers.
I figured by Sunday night, Jeremy, you were taking a knee, but not in protest. Just like to catch a breath after all those bad picks this week.
Oh, look at you, funny guy.
Yeah.
Hey, as bad as I am, you're not all that much better, either one of you two, because you were sitting at 4-6, Allie. You've only gotten 4 games right in the 2 weeks we've been talking. Jeff's gotten 3, and I have only gotten 1. But thank God I haven't gotten skunked.
So nobody is at 500, but Ollie, you had a great week, getting 4 of the 5 games right last week. I only got 1 right, and Jeremy only got 1 right.
So, Ollie, you're going to be picking first today.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, you got robbed on that Thursday night game. The last 2 minutes, Niners, they recover that onside kick. They're driving the ball. They do one run. Then he does a little dump out pass, and I can't remember who it was to, but they're on the 35-yard line, and they got called for offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
They showed the replay, and I didn't see a thing.
Yeah,
and I
frickin'
guess
refs.
yeah, exactly. And I guess the next day everybody was all up in arms because they never even went back to take a look at it again. It was pretty bad. I felt
It's like
bad
one
for
of
the
those
Niners
calls.
for once.
They need to address this they should address it before the season's over, but they won't do it until the off season. But it's one of those calls that they can't reverse once they do it. But they're calling it a lot more liberally this year than they have in the past with this offensive pass interference, because on 3 or 4 occasions in games I've been watching this year, and keep in mind we're only in week 3, I've seen these offensive pass interference calls, and I look at them like, really, that's offensive pass interference, like for like a push off, and it's like that really isn't a push off. And
Pass interference is when, you're trying to knock the ball out of the guy's hands, or you're trying to get in between him and the ball, and you're not looking at the ball to catch it. I mean, that's what pass interference is, right? This holding crap, this push-off crap. Yeah, but, it's the NFL and it's the refs.
Let him do it a little bit. Come on.
It's terrible when it actually decides the game.
Yeah,
too.
right.
I mean, because
in the final moments,
that's the worst.
Yeah, in the final moments, unless it's obvious, in the final moments, you should not be calling it. Like, treat it like the NBA does.
I agree.
All right, let's get to these
with you
picks.
guys.
Let's get to these
All
picks.
right.
Week 4. It's our third week together, but it's week 4 in the Red Zone Challenge, brought to you by Firestone Walker Brew. These are the 5 closest games of the week, according to Vegas. We start with the London game. Everybody loves the London game.
London game.
Yeah, screw yourself.
Didn't we all pick the London game wrong last week, or was that even a game that we picked?
I picked Baltimore.
Everybody picked Baltimore.
Yeah, and we all got our asses kicked. Tonight, Baltimore is going to make an appearance in the Red Zone this week in the
This is
panel
an
here,
AFC North heavy Red Zone challenge.
But we're going to start with New Orleans. They are 3-point favorites in London, taking on the Miami Dolphins. The picking order again will go Ollie, Jeff, and then Jeremy. Ollie, who do you like in this?
I like the Saints. I think they showed a little something last week that they can actually confuse people a bit. Their defense looks slightly better than it has the first couple of weeks, and I don't see Miami keeping up with the points. But then again, it's in London, so
who knows?
Anything can happen over there.
I'm going to go with the. Okay, I'll tell you what about this game. I love this matchup, and I hate the fact that it's being played in London.
He wants to pick Miami so bad, Ollie. He loves them.
They play on Wembley at Wembley Stadium, where it's grass. It's long grass at Wembley Stadium, and this matchup is made for turf. You have two high-powered offenses that want to be high-powered offenses that are just going to chuck the ball all over the field. For fantasy purposes, this is a matchup that I love if it's stateside. But then when you enter in the fact that the teams have to travel, there was word earlier this week that Miami wasn't even going to make it over there until Thursday.
Wow.
And it's like all this weird stuff surrounding this game that could make for a marquee matchup in the NFL, and it's going to make it a dud, just like the Baltimore-Jacksonville game was a dud, because you're having to play it in a place that nobody cares about. You come in there to play. It's dumb. I hate the London games. I'll always hate I hate the London games more than I hate Thursday night football. That being said, I'm going to go with the.
Come on!
This is a coin toss. I'm going to try to make up some ground. I'm going to go Miami Dolphins.
There we go. A little Dolphin action.
And I'm a closet fan.
I don't have such an elaborate breakdown for my choice. I have 2 names. All right. I have Drew Brees and Jay Cutler. Who are you going with? I'm going with Drew Brees. New Orleans. All right. Let's move into the next one.
I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see Jay Cutler with his head in his arms this week again, staring at the ground.
The extensive amount of offensive weapons in this game, and they're playing it at Wembley Stadium. It's just blasphemous. Anyways, Oakland versus Denver.
Yeah, Denver is the favorite in this at home, 3-point favorite. Who do you like, Ollie?
Both of them laying turds last week, huh?
Game of the week is what I'm calling.
Oh, really?
I think yes. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I think Denver is going to watch the game tape from Sunday night, see what Tom Sula did with that defensive line, and I think the Raiders, unfortunately, are going to have their second loss of the season here. I think Denver's too well coached, and they got too good of a defensive line to let the Raiders do what they've been doing the first couple weeks of the season. So I'm taking Denver.
Oakland lost to Washington. Denver lost to Buffalo this last week. Who's the better team, Washington or Buffalo? That's the question you have to ask yourself, because that's the direction these teams are trending, right?
I think Denver on the road versus Denver at home is something you got to think. I think Denver at home is one of the best teams out there right now.
And I agree with you, and that's why I'm going to pick Denver to win this game as well, just because they're very Seattle-esque in their ways. Is like at home, they are unstoppable. Look what they did to the Cowboys a couple weeks ago. I mean, what they did to the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago, everybody thought, oh, Dallas could come in there and just walk all over the Broncos. No, God, they embarrassed Dallas. They have a distinct home field advantage at Mile High Stadium.
All right.
Or Sports Authority or whatever it's called now.
I'm 3 games back out of first. I'm 1-9. I need to make up some room on you guys. So I'm going Lone Wolf. Woo! Come on, Raider Nation! I'm going with the Oakland Raiders. Only because you guys both went Denver. Otherwise, Jeff, you'll see what I have highlighted when I came into work this morning.
Yeah, Denver. Yes.
And I was actually somewhat intelligent. That has all gone to the wayside after 4 hours in a room with Jeff. So we move on.
Yeah, you said Oakland Denver's game of the week. No, this is the game of the week, my friend.
Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals travel to Cleveland with they are the favorites. Cincinnati, a 3-point favorite going in to the land of football. What do you like in this one, Ollie?
I think this coach on Cincinnati's got to be real worried right now. If he loses this game, he might be losing his job here halfway through the season. I got to take Cincy. I think they have to do something here. They did all right in that Green Bay game, but you can't leave Aaron Rodgers with that much time to drive down the field as we saw last year in the playoffs when they played Dallas. So I'm taking Cincinnati to win this game. I have no faith in the Browns.
By the way, they're a 3-point favorite on the road in Cleveland, and I went to school last week on the Cleveland Browns. Whenever they come up in the Red Zone Challenge, I'm going to pick against them because that seemed like a lock for them to beat the Colts with the Patriots' old third-string running or quarterback.
Yeah, right.
And that was not what happened. The Colts won that game. So I'm never going with the Browns again. Not until they show me something more. Cincinnati Bengals win this one.
Oh, God. Who's the worst team in football? Is it the Jets or is it the Browns?
Well, the Jets beat the Dolphins last week.
Yeah, that's true. That was weird. Yeah, I'm going to go Cincinnati on this one as well. So we all pick Cincinnati, and we move on to which I think is the game of the week. Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Rivalry week.
The Ravens at home hosting the 3-point favorite Pittsburgh Steelers after falling last week to the Chicago Bears. Pittsburgh is still a favorite because what? Baltimore got blown out in London? Who do you like, Ollie?
I don't love this pick. I just there's too many weapons on Pittsburgh right now to see them keep flailing like this. That Chicago game, they got to be embarrassed by that, but I think a lot of that had to do with all the craziness going on over the weekend. So I'm taking Pittsburgh, but again, I don't love this pick. I think that rivalry, as we've seen throughout the years, there could be a lot of hurt players after this game, and my feelings could be hurt if Pittsburgh loses. So what do you guys think?
I have to agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. I look at the two lineups, and I think Baltimore's defense is middle of the road. Pittsburgh's defense is middle of the road. Baltimore's offense is terrible. The amount of weapons that they don't possess starting with the quarterback versus what Pittsburgh has at their disposal with the best running back in the league. I don't care that they're playing this game in Baltimore and that it is a rivalry game. I think that this has got Pittsburgh written all over it, and straight up, I would take this. But, it's funny. If this was a 7-point spread, I think I would take Pittsburgh, even though it's just a 3-point spread.
So their first game of the year, they won 20-0. They beat Cincinnati.
Bengals.
Their second week, they beat the Cleveland Browns, 24-10. Then Baltimore goes over and gets just blown out by Jacksonville, 44-7. But they have to go to London, for God's sakes.
Jacksonville had to go too?
Yeah, I know they did, but something happened. Something wasn't right. This was, listen, Baltimore is a better team than I think both of you realize, and I think they're better than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Because they beat up on the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals.
And I need to make up another game on you clowns. So here we go, Baltimore. Let's see it, Ravens. Yeah.
I like joke. I like that pick.
I think it's both garbage football teams right now, and I don't think it matters. Sure. But I'm going to go with the home team when I can. All right, final matchup. The Chargers, they travel. They get on the airplane.
No.
No? This
home.
one is in the hub?
Yeah.
We're calling it the hub now, Ollie.
They're at the hub.
They're at the hub.
They're a 1.5 favorite at the hub.
It's StubHub Center down at the soccer field where the Galaxy play with 27,000 seats. They will be taking on Philadelphia, who comes to town. Chargers, a 1.5-point favorite on this one.
I think the Chargers wish they could fly out of L.A. there. I don't think they have any home field advantage, but then again, I can't see them losing another game in a row. Their team is too talented, way too talented to lose another one here. They got poor coaching again. It's a shame to kind of see the Chargers season going up in flames. I'm taking the Chargers. I think they're going to pull this one off, but yeah, it's been a rough season for the poor Chargers.
Did you see what the New York Giants receivers were able to do last week versus the Philadelphia Eagles? Even though they lost, the stat lines that those guys were putting up, I think Sterling Shepard had 7 receptions, near 100 yards. Brandon Marshall had like 6 or 7 receptions, 66 yards. This is Melvin Gordon's a little banged up for the Los Angeles Chargers. And so that means the air raid will be brought in. And boy, Phillip Rivers loves his receivers and loves any chance he has to go to them and go to them frequently. And it's all because the Philadelphia Eagles defensive secondary is banged up. They got second and third stringers in their secondary, and the Chargers will exploit that. And when I look at this game on paper and I look at their schedules and I look at their records, I'm like, how is it that Vegas is favoring the Chargers? But I know why. And it's because they know that the high octane passing attack of the Los Angeles Chargers can beat down that Philly defensive secondary. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers get their first win of the season this week. I'm with you on this one, Ollie.
Listen, I think that's probably going to happen for 3.5 quarters, and then somewhere in the fourth quarter, Phillip Rivers is going to throw like back-to-back interceptions. They're going to fumble the ball, and then the kicker's going to come in and miss a 37-yard field goal. They're going to shank it.
44 yards. That's his magic number, 44 yards.
I have lost all faith in the Chargers, and I feel so bad for Chargers fans. Whether you're in San Diego, Los Angeles, Timbuktu. God, it has to be the worst team to be a fan of. They screw themselves over week after week. I'll never pick them. I never will. I'm going Philly. I don't care how banged up and badly their defense is in their secondary. Philadelphia Eagles, and there it is, the Red Zone picks. You can go to KZOZ.com and you can win a trip to Vegas. You got to sign up. You got to play. You just pick who you think is going to win each week. After the Super Bowl, we'll give away a trip to Las Vegas, 2 nights at the MGM Grand, round trip airfare out of Santa Maria on Allegiant Air. We're going to kick you $500 to put on black, and we're going to give you some tickets to go to a Vegas show called the Jabberwockies,
you put it on
where you get to meet them.
You don't have to put it on black.
Yeah,
if you put
that's
it on
what
black,
I put it on.
Hit us up on Facebook Live because we like to see that kind of action going down in Vegas. Ali,
spend it at the buffet. Who cares?
Looking at the weather for football this Sunday, and let's say I'm outside watching a game because you can do that now with flat screen TVs, not have it to be too much glare. We are looking at temperatures right around 84 degrees in my hood of San Luis Obispo. What do you recommend I take along with me in a bucket with some ice?
I love drinking Easy Jack on those type of days. Nice low alcohol session IPA, delicious mandarina hop in there. It's a great beer. It's one of those beers your arm will get a lot of workout because you'll just be putting them back.
Good.
So that's one of my favorites. And then also the Pivo Pilsner is another great, German style pils that's absolutely delicious. Those are my two. They're low alcohol, great session beers. You're gonna have a good Sunday if you're drinking those two. So that's what I would recommend.
And when it comes down to a production strategy, do you guys ease off of the summer beers around this time of year because obviously summer's coming to an end?
It does. You do see a slowdown as far just beer consumption in general. Once winter kind of hits, you see a lot more wine and spirit pick up. So we definitely slow down a bit. But then we kind of come out firing January, February, right before springtime. Try to get ahead of the game as far as producing and getting our production up. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up next year as far as different types of releases. I don't want to give anything away. We'll probably talk more this football season about what's coming down the line.
Well, don't take away too many summer beers because our summers here usually go into Christmas.
That's the thing. We could be having this conversation in week 9 of the National Football League season.
Don't you worry; those beers are year round. So
why do you think
get those?
Why do you think we invited you as an expert on the panel this year? We need an in.
I think expert is being too generous here. So
He's 4-6 though. He's the best expert we have.
Best of the worst, honestly. We have to be the three worst guys playing this game.
I'm just glad Jeremy didn't go 0-10. He would have been crushed. He would have been crushed like the Los Angeles Chargers fan base.
Tell them what I did when I came in this morning and I saw your email, because I haven't even been looking. 1-9? What?
I noticed how you keep sending me the picks later and later, too, so I don't get an advantage here.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
He just doesn't want you to overthink it, that's all. There's Ollie from Firestone Walker. Always good talking to you, man. Don't forget, this is always going to be at KZOZ.com. It's on iTunes, Podbean. It is the Picks podcast, after the show podcast. We'll catch up with you next week, sir.
Sounds great. A lot of fun always, guys. Talk to you soon.
There goes Ollie from Firestone Walker Brew.
Easy Jack time, Sunday. Root on your favorite team.
You should try that at Versus, too, man. I'll tell you, it's that brand new.
I will. I mean,
that brand new one.
I want what's going to go. Like, I'm going to treat Ali as if he's my beer sommelier.
There you go.
For football season.